Don't look at me like that. The rancher kept staring. And then he had a wife. Dusk lays a thin blue shadow over the prairie. Wind skates across hard snow, and one porch lantern makes a small circle of gold at Sage Hollow Ranch. Gideon Reeves stands in that light, still as a fence post. When he hears crunching beyond the yard, he doesn't call out. He just turns, slow and careful, like a man who has learned to read trouble before it speaks. A woman staggers out of the blowing dark with a canvas satchel slung tight to her side. Her coat is too light for this cold. Snow beads on her lashes. She stops when she sees him and lifts her chin, stubborn even while her legs shake. Gideon stares. Not a quick glance, a steady, measuring look that makes the space between them feel smaller. She raises both hands, palms open. "Don't study me like I'm something you can own," she says. One short line, a clear line. The lantern shows Gideon blink as if he forgot his eyes could feel sharp. He steps aside, not forward, and points to the porch steps. Then he looks away, giving her room to breathe. Inside, heat rolls from the stove. Gideon sets a kettle on and places a cup on the table. No questions yet. Just water first, like he knows fear doesn't listen until the body does. She wraps her fingers around the cup until they stop trembling. "Hazel Monroe," she says, voice scraped thin by cold. "I was headed to Juniper Station. The storm turned the road into a wall." At the name of the town, Gideon's jaw tightens. Not anger, recognition. "Nobody walks to Juniper in a night like that," he says. Hazel nods once and pulls the satchel closer. The canvas is patched, old work done by patient hands. On one corner, half hidden by melt, is a blurred stamp like official mail. Why would a lone traveler carry something marked for an office? Gideon doesn't ask. He pushes a plate of plain bread across the table and sits back, elbows on his knees, watching the fire instead of her face. But every so often, his eyes drift to the satchel. Silent counting, silent caution. By morning, the storm is gone. The sky is bright and clean, and the world looks like it never hurt anyone. Hazel steps onto the porch and watches Gideon break ice at the trough, each swing controlled, each breath slow. "I can pay you," she says, showing a few coins. "Carry water," Gideon answers, handing her a bucket. It's not charity, it's a place to stand. Later, in the barn, Hazel finally opens the satchel under the steady glow of a lantern. Inside are letters tied with twine, dozens of them, all addressed in different hands. Beneath the bundle sits one thick envelope sealed in red wax, stamped with a territorial court mark. Gideon appears in the doorway, not close, not reaching, just watching like a man who knows paper can ruin lives without ever raising a voice. "Those aren't yours." "They aren't stolen," Hazel shoots back, then softens like she hears her own fear. "A post rider froze on the ridge last week. I found his satchel. These letters never made it home." Gideon's eyes flick to the wax seal. "And that one?" Hazel's fingers hover, then pull away. "That one's why I couldn't just hand this to the first badge I saw." Before she can explain, hooves and wheels sound on the frozen road. A wagon rolls into the yard as if it belongs there. A man in a clean coat steps down, smiling too easily for a morning this cold. Two riders hang back, watching the barn like they already know what's inside. The clean coat man tips his hat. "Mr. Reeve, heard you've got a traveler here. Juniper Station's missing a satchel. Says it belongs to the office." Gideon doesn't move. The camera widens. Open land, thin fence, nowhere to hide. He turns his head towards Hazel, and for the first time, his stare isn't measuring. It's asking. Hazel's throat tightens. She looks at Gideon's empty hands, then at the smiling man, and feels the trap closing without a single shout. So here's the question that hangs in the cold air. Who is telling the truth about that satchel, and what that red wax seal will reveal when someone finally breaks it? Gideon doesn't threaten the clean coat man. He only steps into the line between Hazel and the yard. If Juniper wants that satchel, it can hear it from her, not from you. The man's smile tightens. Then I'll tell them you chose trouble, he replies, and rides away like he already owns the road. That evening, Hazel breaks the red wax at Gideon's table. The paper inside is official and blunt. A territorial judge is appointing a temporary inspector for Juniper Station's mail and accounts. The order lists missing parcels, altered receipts, and the names of settlers who never got what was sent to them. At the bottom is one name, Carter Baines. Hazel exhales, shaken by how simple the truth looks on paper. He wasn't chasing me. He was chasing this. Gideon stares at the page. He'll call you a liar before you finish walking in. Then I won't walk in alone, Hazel answers. They ride into Juniper the next morning. The town clings to the rails, smoke rising straight in the cold. Eyes follow them. On the clinic porch beside the chapel, an older woman steps out with a shawl pulled tight. She freezes when she sees Gideon. Ada, Gideon whispers. So that's the wife. Folks had assumed she was gone for good. The truth is quieter. Ada came to the clinic years ago to heal her lungs and never got strong enough for the harsh ranch air again. Gideon sent supplies and kept his distance, letting silence do what silence always does. Ada looks from Gideon to Hazel. Who is she? A storm brought her, and she brought something Juniper needs to see. They gather in the chapel hall. Hazel doesn't perform. She opens the satchel and starts handing out letters. Names are called, pages unfold. One man reads with lips moving, like he's tasting the words. A woman presses a page flat with both hands so it won't shake. Then Hazel lays the judge's order on the table. Carter Baines arrives with the same clean coat and the same smooth smile. He tries to make Hazel sound confused. He tries to tilt the room towards scandal. Ada sets down her cup. He's my husband, she says. The rumor collapses in one sentence. And when Ada adds what she remembers from the station books, numbers that never matched, Baines finally loses the room. Her memory fits the judge's order. Hazel's satchel fills in the missing pieces. By sundown, the deputy has the records, and a wire goes down the rail line for a territorial clerk to come. Baines leaves without a fight, because this kind of trouble can't be shoved away. That night, Gideon stands outside the clinic with his hat in his hands. The lantern by the door throws light on his knuckles, stiff from years of not reaching. I should have come, he says. Ada doesn't answer with speeches. She only nods once, then touches his sleeve like she's checking he's real. You came now. Hazel watches from the steps and feels something loosen inside her. Not romance, relief, proof that safety can be built. And for the first time since the storm, Hazel sleeps without listening for the road, only the soft creak of the clinic sign in the wind. In the weeks that follow, Hazel delivers every last letter from the satchel. She helps the station sort what was lost and what was delayed, and when the clerk offers her a permanent post, she surprises herself by saying yes. Back at Sage Hollow, the porch lantern still swings in the wind, but the circle of light is bigger now. Ada visits when her breathing allows, sitting wrapped in quilts as Gideon repairs tack beside her and talks a little more than he used to. Hazel stops by with fresh mail and stays long enough to share stew at the table where fear once sat. And here's the quiet lesson as the camera pulls back into the wide land. Healing isn't one grand moment. It's neighbors choosing truth over talk. It's a door opened at the right time. So let me ask you this. When the cold has lasted too long, who gets to start the warmth?